This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons.
Well, good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha Show. Jeff Beals here at your side. I'm from NAINP Dodge. Our show is brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing, the only show you'll ever find in the metro area that talks about business expansion, real estate construction, economic development, the fun stuff that you tune in for each week and have been for the last 18 years. Without any further ado, it's time to bring on my co-host, a man I like to refer to as a legendary real estate deal maker, Trenton Magid.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Beals.
Well, good morning. It's been a great week. And, we added a new feature to the Grow Omaha Weekly Market Report this week. It's called Grow Omaha University. And each week in that, we'll have pieces of advice for leadership management, sales, just little things designed to help you be more successful. We're always looking to add new content. In fact, we're working on a couple other new pieces of content we'll eventually be adding to the newsletter. Can't say what they are yet, because they're still in development.
And it's free and it's easy and it goes into your inbox every Thursday.
Yeah, we have well over 10,000 people who read it every week. If you don't get it and would like to, just go to growomaha.com on the navigation bar, click on Market Report, and you can see all of the past market reports going back for over a year. And then there's a place for you to sign yourself up. If you have signed up and you don't get it, it's probably going to your spam or junk file because it is a bulk distribution. If that's the case and you're frustrated not getting it, go into your email service and add news@growomaha.com as one of your contacts.
Absolutely.
That should do the trick. All right, let's bring on our guest this week. We have with us Todd Simon. He is the CEO and Chief Steak Evangelist of Omaha Steaks, a fifth-generation locally owned company that is famous all over the world. Todd, good morning. Welcome.
Morning, guys.
Good to have you with us.
When you're not on international news, CNN, Fox News, the Home Shopping Network, you're here at the Grow Omaha studio.
That's exactly right. I want to make
You're slumming
a big statement here in Dundee.
You guys have done about as much to advance the name Omaha around the world as pretty much anyone. When I am in other cities, sometimes I like to watch the 10 o'clock or the 11 o'clock news. I never watch it in Omaha, but sometimes when I'm in other cities, I like to watch the first 10 minutes just to get a little flavor of what's going on. And I was laying in my hotel bed in Los Angeles earlier this week, and Omaha Steaks commercial came on TV during the news.
One of the things is that we have spent over the last, 20, 30 years over $1 billion in marketing. And whenever we market Omaha Steaks, of course, we're marketing Omaha. And one of the great things about our brand is that we participate in something that people do every day, right? They enjoy meals with their family and friends. And so it's not uncommon that maybe, the writer for a TV show like Seinfeld or Saturday Night Live or David Letterman or those kinds of shows will have experienced Omaha Steaks, and then they'll just kind of incorporate it into what they do. So we've ended up on a lot of TV shows just as part of the script, not because we paid for it, or just because we're in people's minds.
That's the best part. I think at least $100,000 of that $1 billion was in my mailbox through direct mail pieces.
Get a few of those.
Well, once you've made a purchase from us, we want to make sure we stay in touch.
Those apple tarts, like if anybody, they have amazing desserts at Omaha Steaks, and those apple tarts are in our freezer, and those things are easy to warm up, and love that.
Yeah, we just had them the other night. A friend of mine was driving across the country, stopped to stay with us, and we made for dessert those caramel apple tartlets. It's our number one selling dessert, and it's just so easy to make. People love them.
Hard to say no. Well, we're going to talk more about Omaha Steaks and some of the things that Todd is involved in when it comes to real estate construction and development in the Omaha area. But first, we're going to go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. That's where you can find them online. If you want to talk to them in person, they're at 114th and Davenport, but they will help you with your home loans. FHA, VA, conventional, they do all of that. And don't be too afraid of this whole interest rate thing here, because people are still moving like crazy. There are still people that are buying and building and moving and all this sort of thing. So don't hold back. Interest rates are still phenomenally low when you compare them to historical numbers. And I tell you this, it's still a very competitive housing market. Get that pre-approval letter from Eagle Mortgage so you know you're in good shape when you're about ready to go into the housing search battle. Like I said, eaglemortgagecompany.com or in person, 114th in Davenport. All right, guys, really cool story came out from Mecca, Metropolitan Entertainment and Convention Authority. They're the entity that is coordinating the construction and will manage the new riverfront parks when they open. And there was an article that came out this week talking about the Farnham Pier. This will be a structure that goes from the east end of Heartland of America Park over the Union Pacific Railroad track, over the flood wall, and sticking out to the edge of the Missouri River.
I like the name.
Your microphone was off. Go ahead.
I like the name.
Yeah, I do too. And at any rate, this thing is going to be like 250,000 pounds. And in order to make it happen, crews will assemble the largest construction crane ever installed in downtown Omaha history. Not the tallest, but the largest.
So it'll be cantilevered over the...
Yeah, they're going to assemble. It's coming in massive pieces. It's being built in Houston, Texas. It'll come on site.
The crane or the pier?
The pier itself will come from Houston. Okay. The crane will come in many, many pieces, like 40 truckloads to bring in this crane. And then they'll assemble the pier there. Apparently it's going to come in 3 or 4 pieces. Then the crane will fly it over the railroad and into place. So we may have to get Brad Williams to go down there with his video camera when that happens. Absolutely. So we can document that. All right, a couple other things that are of note today. The Wyndham Omaha Hotel has opened in the former Sheraton Hotel building. It doesn't look like it.
Up on the hill?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it when you drive by.
This is Old Mill area, 108th, up on that hill. You drive by it, and so the latest incarnation is a Wyndham.
Wyndham Omaha Hotel is open. The signage is not in place because I got a couple notices that it was open this week, and our office is close there, and I drove by, and the sign still looks like it was blown out by a tornado. I'm sure that's just because they haven't had a chance to get to it, but the Wyndham Omaha Hotel is open in the former Sheraton space. And then a lot of talk this week, guys, about the piece of land that is immediately east of the future Mutual of Omaha skyscraper tower headquarters. All right. And this came out late last week. Trenton, I believe you talked about it somewhat in the show last week. But the far west end of the Jean Leahy Mall, while that renovation project has been going on, has been used as a construction staging area. It's no longer planned to be part of the mall. And we've been talking about having it redeveloped, and there's been a lot of talk about that. Well, now Mutual of Omaha is going to use that for staging for 4 years while the tower is under construction. At that point, they may keep it just for future expansion as they continue to grow. Some people would say, why don't they just build the tower taller? But, you don't want to overbuild for what you have now for cost purposes or what have you.
Let's hope that they expand and that many employees are downtown.
That would be a great problem. At any rate,
if not, maybe Omaha Steaks wants another headquarters or another tower down there. Would that work, Todd?
Breaking news?
I don't think so.
Okay. We're going to talk a lot about all the investment that Todd and his partners have made in the downtown area. So by extension, the Simon family is definitely well invested in downtown.
All right. And then one last piece of news before we get into our talk with Todd Simon from Omaha Steaks. And that is some manufacturing expansion going on in western Douglas County. 3M, which has a plant in Valley, Nebraska, will invest approximately $58 million to expand said plant. They build respiratory and hearing protection products there. Now, this is according to Business Facilities Magazine. 80,000 square foot expansion will create around 50 new jobs at the facility. 3M has been there since it acquired the site in 1979 and currently employs 560 people.
That's one of those companies that unless you're involved, you work there, you have a friend that works there, you don't know much about, but it's great for our economy.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden back there in Valley, and I suppose a lot of Omahans don't get to Valley very often, but a nice little piece of manufacturing expansion news there. And that is your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. They know mortgages. Going to take our first break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Todd Simon, CEO of Omaha Steaks, about what's happening at Omaha Steaks, and then we're going to get into a conversation of a handful of very very cool real estate projects that Todd is involved in urban Omaha. So you don't want to miss any of this. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
A car wash experience like no other.
We always talk about my family, my siblings and I talked about that if we started a company, it could be M&M and M&M and M&M. 3M.
So I had no idea 3M had a 500-person plant in
That's
Valley.
a lot of employees.
I thought Valmont was the only company in Valley. I don't know why, and there's a couple green companies.
close.
How many employees does Omaha Steaks
Same
have?
general area.
About 1,500.
That's a lot.
How many?
And so just wasn't very quick on my answer downtown, but we have about I'm trying to think right now, about 20,000 square feet of unused space in our headquarters. We have it's 120,000 square foot headquarters building. We got about 20,000 feet that we've yet to build out the two buildings. We recently though renovated our what used to be our call center, because our call center is now work at home.
Yeah. So are all your operators? Can we talk about that? That they're all. So when you're recruiting employees, they train in your building. Do they train in your headquarters?
No. So right now, well, it depends. But if we're talking about contact center, customer service, and call center, we now recruit in 14 states. And they do all their training online, and then they have a great job that they can do from home, fully enabled to be on our system, talk to our customers. The great thing about it is it's all onshore, so they're all we're employing Americans in 14 states. We haven't taken those jobs and shipped them overseas.
So what do you do with all that space that was the call center?
So we repurposed it. We brought our entire sales, marketing, creative teams all together in the same space on a big 30,000 foot plate. And then now because we've taken those people out of multiple spots throughout the building, we kind of have these little holes now in the building where we're thinking about.
So you got room to expand, is what you
We
got.
do. We have got.
Without having to shoehorn people into small spaces.
Yeah. So we could talk a little bit about our space out west on 109th and John Galt, and then kind of like the changing workplace. The pandemic took us all home, and we decided to keep the call center as a work at home job, but we're able to continue to employ people across the region. And people who want that job, we're always hiring at omahasteaks.com/jobs.
We can mention that.
Yeah, for sure.
We can definitely mention that. It's brutal, isn't it? Just
How
trying
much
to get enough
does the
people
workforce fluctuate during the holiday season?
It scales up by about 4x. So we'll add about 4,500 jobs holiday season. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And how long is that period?
Well, we need them for about a month, but it takes us about 4 or 5 months to kind of ramp into it. So, we have to hire people, train them.
Yeah. And then they come back every year sometimes?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of people who come back, year after year.
So I suppose they just like it. It's their holiday spending money or something like that.
You've got college students that are home on break.
Yeah.
You've got teachers and other kinds of people who have seasonal jobs where they're on vacation. You've got people that want to pick up a second job for the holidays. And again, now that we have that expanded footprint, particularly for the holiday season, and actually there's a lot of people.
Oh, okay, hold that thought.
Okay.
Computer advice in actual English on Compute This with Thor Schrock of Schrock Innovations tomorrow morning at 7 on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
And welcome back. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid with you on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. We highly recommend Dingman's Collision Center for any sort of body work that your car may need. Hey, it happens. Sometimes when you're out there in the demolition derby that is the streets of Omaha, you'll have an uh-oh. And if that is ever the case, you can't beat Dingman's Collision Center. They'll take good care of you. 4 Omaha area locations. Trenton and I have both personally used them over the years and have had a chance to work with them. Great family, great people.
And that's their real last name.
That's true. Yeah, it's a perfect name. I think they chose that business because of the last name they were given.
The caste system, apparently. I'd guess.
We've got Todd Simon with us. He is the CEO and chief steak evangelist at Omaha Steaks, and legendary company known all over the world. And Todd, I was looking at the forecast starting tomorrow and then into next week. I know here in Omaha, we're going to have summer weather. It's like that all over the country now.
It's grilling season.
People are going to be getting their Omaha steaks on the grill.
It is about time too, because it's been a long time coming. We've seen swimming pools in Omaha are getting ready to open, and people are like, what's going on? But yeah, we're excited. It's a great time of the year for us. It's a great time to bring your family and friends together. There's a lot more gatherings happening. So, omahasteaks.com, the place to go.
And you're always having a sale, right?
There's always something of value that you can find on the Omaha Steaks website.
And you're always hiring to omahasteaks.com/jobs.
That's right. And, we were talking during the break, we've got about 1,500 full-time employees now. We swell to we add about 4,500 at the holiday time. So, so as people who are looking for seasonal work, constantly check that website, omahasteaks.com/jobs, because we'll be adding people as we go into Q4.
Todd, speaking of staffing and all that, with 1,500 permanent employees and 4,500 seasonal employees, everyone's talking about how difficult the staffing shortage is. It's crisis. What is Omaha Steaks doing to thrive in such an environment where it's so hard to find good people?
Well, I think one of the most important things is that you have a great culture, you have a great place to work. We like to think that we have the best job in the meat business. Our master butchers craft an artisanal product. It's they kind of get to work at their own pace. They get to really create a great experience for our customers. And then one of our biggest employee populations is our call center. And at the pandemic, we were forced to take it to work at home. And we developed all the technology to do that. We made the decision to keep it work at home, which is amazing because now we can recruit in 14 states. We do the training online, and there are a number of people that really enjoy, the fact that they can work at home, that they don't have to get up and take a commute every day. They can pick the hours that they want.
They can let their dog out.
Exactly. You may have other responsibilities. You're able to weave your job responsibilities in with your personal responsibilities. So it's really worked out well for us. And there's lots of those jobs available at omahasteaks.com/jobs.
Todd, we also want to bring up some of the things that Omaha Steaks is doing in the community, work with food insecurity and other good causes. Can you give us a little overview of Omaha Steaks' civic involvement?
Sure. So we really have three areas that we focus on from a community involvement perspective. The first one is military, healthcare workers, and first responders. We want to support those that are supporting us in our community, in our country, keeping us safe, helping us through the pandemic. So we've done a lot of initiatives around that, and it's just kind of baked into our culture. The second is local arts and culture. A lot of people know that every time they go to a arts and culture event, you're going to see Omaha Steaks involved in some way or another.
Film streams.
Film streams. The opera, the Jocelyn Art Museum, the symphony, and kind of you name it. And we really want to be involved. I've been on the board of directors of the Bemis Center for Contemporary Arts for a long time. One of my favorite places. In fact, I'm going to a performance there this afternoon at 4 if you're looking for something interesting to do. And then the other thing that we've been really focused on, particularly throughout the pandemic and even before, is food insecurity. There are a lot of people out there who have been hurting or been hurt. There are disasters and other kinds of things. So we have made numerous donations to different organizations around the country. Feeding America, an organization called Mercy Chefs that actually goes out and helps people and cooks hot meals and where there's kind of devastation and or power disruptions, those kinds of things. And so that's been really important to us. We've made very large donations of product throughout over the last several years in order to help people in need. We've donated over 1 million meals to people through Feeding America. So we're really trying to get out there and make sure that everyone has a chance to enjoy good, wholesome, healthy food.
It's pretty impressive. You're obviously a big stakeholder in the city of Omaha. And
was that a pun?
Yeah, stakeholder. Yeah, exactly. And you're involved in a lot of community different things. What makes Omaha unique? Obviously, there's a lot of people that are very giving in Omaha, and we always talk about the private-public partnerships in Omaha, Todd. And what's your take on why Omaha is such a giving place?
Well, one of the things I think is that Omaha's realized that there's a lot of things that we don't have. We don't have an ocean, right? We don't have
mountains.
We don't have mountains. We don't have Broadway. There's things
professional sports teams.
Exactly. But what we do have is a close community, a community where you can actually get things done. if you can imagine, trying to change something in the city of Philadelphia or change something in the city of Los Angeles, it's just so big. It's such a massive problem. But when Omaha says, hey, we want to make our education system better, there's people that'll pull together to do that. We want to do something with early childhood education. We want to, advance our downtown, as an example, I think is one of the best things that I'm seeing happening right now. There's just so much going on. And the whole idea, at least in some of the projects I've been involved in, is we really want to get that creative class motivated to come here and to stay here. Because as an employer, we want to have as many talented people in our community so that we can continue to build these amazing businesses, and so we can train and educate people so they can grow their businesses. And that means we need to attract creative people, and we need to keep creative people in our community.
Let's talk a little bit about those projects downtown, because Todd, you're involved as an investor and advisor in several downtown projects that we've talked about before on the show. And then one that we have really not talked much about. And so I'm going to throw out the first one, Dizzy Mule. This was approved by the planning board just this week. And it's a very cool mixed use project coming to Millwork Commons. That, of course, is the area northeast of Charles Schwab Field. Do you want to start off by talking about that one?
Sure. So, one of the things that's really interesting about the Millwork project and about sort of that development in the northern part of downtown to the north of the ballpark is that we have an interest in seeing not only businesses thrive there, but also people living there. Because we know that when a lot of people live in an area, they animate it, they give their other friends and family a reason to come there and frequent those businesses. And it's just more lively, more healthy, more fun, to live in a community. So, the first residential project, that's happening in Millwork, which is the Hello apartments, are about to come online. And you can go online and check those out if you're interested in living in that area.
They look great.
Yeah, it's super.
Is that
cool.
open yet or about to open?
I don't know if it's open yet.
I think it's just about to open.
I think it's going to be opening late summer.
But I went to their website last night, and Hello Apartments, you can pick your size of apartment. The floor plans are all on there. The contacts are on there, and it's really a sense of community. And this is right next to a building that Jeff and I sold at auction, the Mastercraft building that has over 60 entrepreneurs and businesses that have really populated that area. And your partner, your partners, Paul and Annette Smith, have been instrumental in developing this area as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've really done a terrific job with Millwork, which is a project that's focused on redeveloping and elevating that previously underutilized neighborhood. So, Hello Apartments is going to be there with, a couple hundred units, residential units, and then Dizzy Mule is going to be the next sort of mixed-use residential development that's going to be there. And just as I said, just went before the planning board, 172 residential units, 18,000 plus square feet of commercial retail. And what's really interesting is that the diversity of the units, it's going to be a blend of historic and new construction. And there's going to be different sizes because they're connecting these different buildings. And so some of it will have brick walls, some of it will be sort of brand new contemporary construction. There's going to be amazing amenities like multiple conference rooms, a coffee shop with hangout zones, gyms. There's going to be 2 resident art studio bays and an elevated rooftop deck with views of downtown.
And then in addition to that, the Ashton building is right there, part of it. And there was just an announcement that WP Engine, which has had its offices ready to go for some time, is back in there. But that's all part of that whole Millwork Commons area right by Dizzy Mule.
Exactly. And then, of course, when you talk about that creative community, you're also talking about like the hot shops are down there, as Trenton mentioned, the Mastercraft building. And so as those areas continue to draw both residents and and businesses to the area, it's just going to continue to get more and more vibrant.
Well, we have more to talk about with Todd Simon, CEO of Omaha Steaks, but we have to take our middle of the show break for the news. When we come back, we're going to talk about another downtown project that Todd is involved in, and maybe talk a little bit more about some of the ones that are up in that Midtown, or rather in that Millwork Commons areas too. So much more to come. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Biz.
Biz. Oh, I thought it was like that.
I'm talking about supplements.
Yeah. It's like when I was little, I wanted to be a vitamin because at the pharmacy it's a vitamin B1. I thought this was like Marshall Mathers. What's his name?
M&M.
D12 or whatever.
So we hosted an event with this famous chef. I've heard of him, David Burke.
Yeah.
So he was in Omaha, actually in Council Bluffs. We had an event at that Hoff Center in Council Bluffs, and he has his own line of condiments and sauces and stuff. His steak sauce is called B1. He said, he said, you know why my steak sauce is called B1? We said, why? He said, because A1's taken.
It's better than A2.
He said that his advisor said, they'll sue you. And he said, let them sue me. It'll be free advertising.
It never happened to him.
It's like whatever happened to preparation A through H.
Yeah, he's right.
A through G.
He's David Burke, really interesting guy. His stories about the restaurant business and about, just how brutal the restaurant business is. He says super rewarding, but it's also like, it's just, you think about how complicated that business is. I never really thought about the fact that, like, how you have to layer people in. You only have so much capacity in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. And they stay in there. They have to stay in there the whole time. There's no
on a per hour basis, it's one of the lowest paying jobs in the world because everybody in the restaurant business works like 70 hours a week.
Right.
Yeah. Sure, including the owner.
Yeah, no, especially
you guys have done it before. You guys have done it in restaurants.
Only as a supplier and sometimes a licensor.
Was Arizona or where was it?
Yeah, sometimes the licensor, but it's but we never wanted to be in that business because we don't understand it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we going to come out of the break? Do you want to talk about elevator? Or?
Yeah, we want to mostly focus on elevator. But I thought maybe before we hit elevator, let's kind of backtrack a little bit. And I might say something like, hey, Omaha Steaks is a fifth generation company. Can you give us a brief overview of the history?
Okay, sure.
I think people would find that interesting.
Sure.
I see what great-great-grandfather. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You don't see very many five-generation companies.
No, you don't. It's the statistics are that something like only 0.3% of companies make it to the fifth generation.
Yeah.
I talked to someone recently who said, I bet the person who authored that study, and that number's not quite right, but it's still very small.
It's probably 0.2.
Yeah, exactly.
It's probably worse.
Exactly.
Did you ever think you'd be the last Simon standing?
Well, we've still got plenty.
Yeah.
You're making some new ones.
Yeah, exactly. We're all working on the sixth generation.
Does Julian have any interest? Or?
Might be working on the seventh generation.
That means you have to work till you're about 80.
Exactly. I never get a chance to retire.
Like the Lumpkins? You worked into that.
They're going to carry me out in a styrofoam cooler.
Bigger one than most.
That would be fitting.
An estimated 2,000 Ukrainian Marines, along with innocent civilians, including women and children, have been
I like the story about the warehouse worker that was caught sleeping in the blast freezer. Was there a guy that worked there forever? They found him sleeping in the blast freezer?
I don't know. You're making that up. You die in the blast freezer. It's like it's 60 below zero in there.
It wouldn't take long.
Yeah, exactly.
Sleep in the blast freezer.
Don't bring that up. What have you
It's already out.
Do you remember Arnie Barnes? Do you remember that?
Who was that? I know that name.
A guy who who got
News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
he got David Letterman used to literally randomly call people.
Oh, and you worked for Omaha Steaks?
He randomly called this guy.
I remember that
Arnie
name.
Barnes, who worked at Omaha Steaks, and so
It was reoccurring, wasn't it?
yeah.
right.
And then he started to call them kind of regularly, and hey, what happened today at the steak company? And
Like Larry Bud Millman and
Yeah, like-
you can't pay for that kind of stuff.
I know.
See, and what was Seinfeld? There was a Seinfeld reference. There was
a couple of them, but one of them was Kramer was being held hostage by the Postmaster General.
okay.
I can't remember why, or something like that. And they were talking about, he's like, they keep sending me stuff. This one. Oh, steaks.
I mean, the value of that is just huge.
Measurable.
It's like the executive at M&M that turned down E.T. and Steven Spielberg for. That's why they used Reese's Pieces for E.T. because M&M's some guy probably got fired. It's a space age movie. This is a little character.
Right. Reese's Pieces, right?
Why was anybody turning down any free advertising?
No, they probably had to pay for it.
Well, we were in the movie. We were in the latest Alexander Payne movie, Downsizing. I was actually filmed in our plant. Matt Damon was an employee of Omaha Steaks. I thought it was a really good movie. I don't think it got the credit it deserved.
No, I agree. What's he doing with the? I sold him that
King Fong.
King Fong. Is he doing anything?
I don't know. I need to ask him about it.
He has that sweet shop at the downstairs, but the King Fong's been closed forever, hasn't it? For a long time.
Yeah.
It was like a Swedish bathhouse on the top originally or something. And the fixtures in there are either worth a fortune, priceless, or worth nothing. But I think it's like all hand carved, all these screens and everything, wood carved.
I think it should be brought back as a Chinese restaurant.
Clean the kitchen though.
Reincarnation.
That was so nasty.
Oh yeah.
But there's like nowhere to eat.
I always, every time I went there, I always thought it was a great experience. Like, it was a little bit about the food, but most about the.
We love the Colombian restaurant, Cumbia.
Oh, where is that?
It's right next to
Himalayan Java.
Right next to Mercury.
Oh, it is?
North of Mercury.
Yeah.
It's good? Was it on for dinner?
Do you know that?
No, they only sell appetizers, but they're really good.
Yeah?
Sandwiches and stuff. I did the Mercury deal in the corner there, that drink.
Yeah.
And
How are they doing?
Great. It originally was called The Mercury. Remember Sean Parker?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Social Network. I sat down and said, drop the the.
Yeah.
True story. They changed the lease for Mercury.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if they'd change it.
The Facebook.
Yeah.
All right, Roger, I'm up to 4 of them now.
He does we do the Omaha Minutes, or he does the Omaha Minutes every weekday. Gary Saddlemeyer and talk about what's hot.
We record them now.
Every day? Oh, you're going to do that now?
I record 5
Pre-record
Saturday mornings. All right, here we go. Remember, so you're going to talk Steel Ridge, right?
Yep.
Links to every conversation so you can listen and make up your own mind. Find it all on the Ian Swanson page at kfab.com.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid here. We're brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and D&M Roofing, the top-notch roofing contractor in Omaha for both residential and commercial roofs. If you are a property owner or decision maker, definitely reach out to D&M Roofing. All right, it's time for our commercial real estate development spotlight, brought to you by Noddle Companies. You know Noddle Companies. They're based here in Omaha, but they're doing projects all over the Midwest. Here in town last week, Trenton talked about the big expansions going on with all of the public amenities in Exarban by the Interrail Food Hall, the bigger dog run and all that sort of stuff. They also have River's Edge and Council Bluffs, new stuff in West Omaha by Village Point, and one of their projects is Steel Ridge, which is near the Interstate 80 Highway 370 interchange.
Absolutely. They have Steel Ridge, and they also have Steel Ridge South, which is more industrial. Steel Ridge on the north side of 370 has a lot of H&H brands, Baxter, a lot of different car facilities there, state-of-the-art. And our friend Steve Hinchcliffe and Jeff Hinchcliffe at H&H is building a car wash. And then Noddle Development is building some strip centers there. They've got multi-tenant bays with drive-throughs, and I think the first lot is 2,300 square foot tenant. They wouldn't tell me who it was, but that's going. And so you're going to have 3 or 4 different strip centers right along 370, and those will be popular.
Well, and that is your Noddle Companies Commercial Real Estate Development Spotlight. You can learn more about that company at noddlecompanies.com. Well, we have Todd Simon with us. He is the CEO of Omaha Steaks. And Todd, we were talking before in the last segment about some of the real estate development projects that you're involved in, and we have another one to mention. But before we get to that, people know Omaha Steaks has been around for a long time, but it's a 5th-generation company. Can you give us the little historical overview?
Sure. Omaha Steaks was started by my great-great-grandfather in 1917. We started out as a commercial butcher and for supplying grocery stores and trains and hotels locally. In the late 50s, though, the meat industry really changed, and it became apparent that small local purveyors were not going to really be able to thrive going forward. My dad graduated from the University of Pennsylvania in 1959 with a degree in philosophy, making him uniquely suited to start a mail-order steak company.
Yes, he was.
And prior to that, my grandfather had been getting requests, from various sources to ship him some of those steaks that they ate on the train or some of those steaks that they had when they were visiting a restaurant in Omaha. So he had started to do that. And my dad said, well, maybe we can make this a big business, and sort of, yada, 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 cut to today. And we're the largest direct-to-consumer seller of steaks and gourmet food in the country. We sell online, obviously, at omahasteaks.com. We sell over the phone. We do direct mail. We still have a wholesale business to restaurants. We sell corporate gifts, and it's really just been exciting. It's really an exciting time to be in the food business in particular, and to help people have exceptional food experiences at home.
Well, in addition to leading Omaha Steaks, Todd is involved in several real estate projects. We talked about a couple of them in the Millwork Commons area in the last segment. But Todd, we want to spend a little time talking about a project called Elevator at 14th and Jones. And this is something that people around here have not seen.
No, they haven't. And I think what this sets against the context of really everything that's happening downtown, with the redevelopment of the Jean Leahy Mall, the Riverfront project, we've got the Steelhouse project, there's a proposed Holland Center expansion, the Capitol District, Millwork, as we talked about.
Kiewit Illuminarium.
They have the Kiewit Illuminarium. There's a Jocelyn expansion. There's some shifting going on with the library. All of that, is really just, moving the pieces around in such a great way in downtown Omaha. And an elevator is a new concept in warehousing that combines the best parts of co-working with warehousing to serve entrepreneurs that are selling and dealing in physical goods. So I think you guys in the commercial real estate business ought to just be totally focused on this, because this is pipeline for you. These are entrepreneurs and business owners that are literally getting out of their garage and their basement and their living room and wanting to expand the footprint of their business with a group of peers in a supportive environment that provides the kind of services that a small business really needs to get going. And the elevator's mission is to make the hardest part of running an e-commerce business easier.
So give us an idea. So instead of a 3 or 5 year lease, there's entrepreneurs that are currently working out of their home. They're selling dog products. They're selling anything that's a physical product, and they might need some warehouse space. They need some office space. They need connectivity, and they need they need fulfillment services. So how is that going to work, and what's the timeline for Elevator? It's at 14th and Jones, 1402 Jones, the former O'Keefe Elevator space, which was really a cool space when O'Keefe Elevator, I remember walking through when they totally remodeled it.
Right, and the great thing about it is that space was really perfect for this use because it has some office suites and conference rooms and stuff like that already built out. It's got a training center in it, but it also has plenty of open warehouse space that can be subdivided into smaller portions.
Does it have an elevator?
It does. It even has it has a state-of-the-art elevator. It's really nice. So basically, it starts with flexible monthly memberships as opposed to long-term, hardwired leases. There's going to be micro warehouses from 100 to 2,000 square feet, private offices, and flexible storage. There'll be things like daily carrier pickups. You can imagine, let's say you run an e-commerce business out of your house. You've got UPS has to come and pick up 50 packages that you're shipping, but maybe you've got to go pick up the kids at school, or you're not there. So this is it'll be attended so that those things can happen. All utilities and Wi-Fi will be included. There'll be shared warehouse equipment. There'll be conference rooms, training rooms, a photo and video studio, obviously something critical if you're going to be an e-commerce seller. There'll be programming and community events, and there'll be availability of on-demand labor and custom fulfillment services. So all that wraps around to provide an entrepreneur an opportunity to grow their business. And then, I was talking to you guys at the break, you guys should put a desk there and help these individuals, because as soon as they outgrow 1,000 or 2,000 square feet, they're going to need a permanent location. They're going to have established themselves as the kind of business that can really grow. And this is pipeline, into the commercial real estate. Whether you're a broker or a landlord, you're going to want to know about Elevator, and you can find out more at elevatorspaces.com, or you can email hello@elevatorspaces.com.
It's an absolutely brilliant idea to take what has become so popular, co-working, which everyone thinks of as very small, short-leased office spaces, and turn it into the warehousing and logistics side. Love the idea. Todd, how unique is this outside of Omaha?
Well, it's interesting that the couple that has started this business has been studying this model, and it is occurring, in other markets. But the statistics are staggering. I mean, we think that there's 7,000 businesses like this just in the Omaha metro area.
Upstart e-commerce companies?
Upstart e-commerce companies. They might be selling on Etsy. They might be selling on Amazon. They might be selling on their own websites. They might be making a unique product, whether that's a salsa or a pet product, or maybe they're doing digital printing for
salsa for pets.
Exactly, salsa for pets. But as we were talking about before, a vibrant city needs a thriving entrepreneurial class, and it's sort of incumbent upon the community to put in place the infrastructure to make that entrepreneurial class really thrive, and then we all benefit. Those businesses grow, they start to employ more people, they start occupying more space. It's really just it's a really beautiful, virtuous circle, and I'm really thrilled to be a part of it.
So we talked about very edgy, innovative developments in Millbrook Commons, this elevator project at 14th and Jones, and then of course you mentioned the big projects like the parks and the Kiewit Luminarium, Joslin expansion, et cetera. Todd, given all of this, and not to mention a skyscraper and streetcar, where's downtown going? What do you see it looking like, feeling like?
And you lived downtown for a long time. You own buildings downtown. You frequent La Bouvette and M's Pub, I bet. And so you've got a unique perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, my perspective is really interesting because I view myself as an urban homesteader. I moved to back to Omaha in 1986, and the first thing I did was move into kind of a funky loft on the north side of the park, next to the Swanson Foods Factory, and it was still operating as the Swanson Foods Factory. I think I was living over there with three people. My neighbors were Frankie Payne and Mike Moylan.
Yep.
And so all names that you know from downtown.
It sounds like the Broadway play Rent, by the way.
Right. And I think that as what's so important, and we talked about this before, is as people are living downtown, as people are working downtown, as there's a way for entrepreneurs to live downtown and walk up the street to their business at Elevator or whatever, we're going to continue to see that vibrancy, and the more inhabitants we have there, the more services we'll have, the more it's going to be, downtown is and will continue to be, it'll be the destination in Omaha for people, particularly, and there'll be an opportunity to really pull people from West Omaha into downtown to enjoy everything it has to offer.
Well, thank you for your leadership and your investment in downtown throughout Omaha, both on behalf of Omaha Steaks and yourself, because it takes people like you to get involved and not only make for yourself, but to give to everyone else.
Todd, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Todd Simon, CEO of Omaha Steaks. We're going to take our final break of the hour, and when we come back, it'll be the Turner Construction Lightning Round. I'm looking at the list. A lot of restaurant and retail stuff. Don't want to miss it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. Back in a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
You know what we should talk about?
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
So much. What if we worked a deal where we do a desk down there or something, and I totally buy into what you're talking about, but where Grow Omaha is like the official media sponsor, so we do a trade out or something where we just broadcast the shit out of that.
That'd be awesome.
And you want to do something like that?
Sure, I'll put you in touch with Shannon on that.
Okay, so are you just subleasing the whole building to her, or are you invested with it, or?
Both.
Okay.
So we own the building. They're our only tenant.
Okay.
And then we also made a equity investment in the business. Yeah.
But I can totally
And
see
we
by being
think-
down there, you can get businesses to invest in. And
Yeah, we're already looking
You have
for.
about 5 minutes. Joe.
Okay, that's perfect.
We're already looking for
equity people.
other locations in other adjacent communities, Lincoln, Des Moines, Minneapolis, Quad Cities. I mean, there's just we think this could be a 50 location.
An elevator has a connotation of building up, so
Right.
it works out pretty good.
Well, we were looking for name. They had all these names. They hired a branding company. And they had all these names, and we were talking about it. And we're having a drink in my living room, and I'm like, why don't we just call it elevator? And they're like,
It's perfect, yeah. It is absolutely perfect, yeah.
Scott Meyerson in high school, we're walking through, remember Pace Membership Warehouse? And there's this guy with his girlfriend or wife or whatever in front of us, and he looks at everything in the warehouse and goes, I get it, they buy in large quantities.
Thanks, man. You think that went okay?
This works, absolutely.
No major flubs?
Yeah, put me in touch. that'd be
Zero
great.
flubs.
Okay. Good. All right. Thanks, you
You know
guys.
where you're at?
Stay in touch. Yep.
Okay.
Good.
Thanks.
Have a good weekend, Todd.
Thank you.
So Pace Membership Warehouse was around when we were in high school, huh?
Oh, yeah.
That place was, that was long before we
I
had
still have
Costco.
I
Or
still
Sam's
have,
Club, I think.
in my garage, I have a brown plastic
News, weather, and traffic.
To be continued.
dustpan that says Pace on the back.
Podcasting News Radio 1110 KFAB radio station.
And it's the lightning round brought to you by Turner Construction. Turner Construction is building for the future. With 150 full-time Turner Construction employees in the Omaha area, they're doing projects big and small, from the Sarpy County Data Center in Papillion/Springfield to building out your space at your building for your business. And Turner Construction is very civically oriented. They're kind enough to bring this segment to you, which we very much appreciate. And if you're ever looking for a job in construction, definitely check out Turner Construction, because nobody beats the way they take care of their people. Turner Construction, sponsor of your Grow Omaha Lightning Round. All right, let's get to it. Trenton, first news, JoJo's Diner has signed a lease at 1213 Harney Street in the Old Market. They were originally out of Benson. They recently opened at 132nd and Maple. They must be doing well, because this place is growing really fast.
I haven't tried it yet. I definitely want to try it. I saw the one that used to be Bebo's a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember Bebo's.
Good location, nice balcony.
So have you, I have never, speaking of places I've never tried, I've not tried Sauced by Alfaro. Everyone is talking about, if you go on to Omaha Food Lovers on Facebook, everyone loves Sauced
You
by
haven't been to
Alfaro.
Sauced?
No, and it's in downtown Louisville.
I haven't either, to be honest.
Louisville. But people rave about it. It's actually moving to the Piccolo Pete's space at 115 North Washington in downtown Papillion starting on May 11th. So it'll be a little closer.
And aren't they moving downtown as well?
I don't know about that one, but I thought I heard.
Who's taking the right to the south of in your news in our newsletter in the Farnham Hotel? There's a restaurant.
Oh yeah, that's also on the docket. That's what I just mentioned at first. That's JoJo's Diner.
Yeah, so they have 3 or 4 locations. Wow.
Yeah, JoJo's. Yeah, 3 locations now. And then B&G Tasty Foods. You and I used to go there in high school in Beverly Hills Plaza along Dodge. Closed a couple years ago. Everyone loves this stuff. They got the loose meat sandwich and the shoestring fries. Everyone loved it. Retro style fast food. They are coming back to life in a former Godfather's Pizza building on 90th Street.
Near Blondo.
Between Blondo and Maple. So welcome back, B&G's.
They're doing something unique as well, is that they're going to have adult milkshakes where they're putting alcohol in milkshakes. I'm sure you can get them non-alcoholic for the kids. But,
what could possibly go wrong?
Exactly.
I'm definitely
Johnny's having a hard time sleeping.
I'm definitely going to try one of those. But yeah, it's good to have B&G's back. That was a place you would go for a treat once in a while. And
but it's kind of like Big Fred's. You got to be raised on it, because if you're not raised on it, you may not like it.
I don't know. It's pretty damn good. Hale Varsity Club will have a soft opening May 14th through the 18th and an official grand opening May 19th through the 22nd. This is going into it was an old sports bar that had been at 12744 Westport Parkway.
It's been a few different things.
Ozzy's Roadhouse.
Good location over by Alamo Draft House Cinema.
So this is going to be like kind of a Husker football thing. Hurrdat and was it Hale Varsity?
They want to broadcast
magazine
from there for their podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. And it'll be a nice addition to La Vista. We've talked about La Vista a lot lately in the last couple of weeks because new hotels going there, Nebraska Multi-Sports Complex, Smash Park. So that area is on fire right now with all sorts of things. Okay, a couple of new retailers coming to Village Point. The first one is Offline by Area. There's also a store called
Aria.
I've never gone there, but at any rate, Offline sells like leggings, sports bras, tops. Good place for you, Trenton. Workout dresses, and very known as Soft Luxe fabric. So apparently super comfortable, super soft. And then
sounds like stretch pants, but okay.
Right next to it, Fabletics or whatever. They're going to be opening there as well. And also kind of active lifestyle, sporty clothing. 70 stores based in El Segundo, California. Closest existing locations are in Minneapolis and St. Louis. All right, you want more restaurant news?
Absolutely.
All right, a couple of Mexican restaurants. The first one.
Hacienda.
No, El Vallarta in the former McAllister's building in Westwood Plaza.
Oh my gosh, they finally leased it?
Yeah, that was originally a Hooters sports bar.
Sure was.
And then McAllister's was there, there's a McAllister's location on 72nd Street.
It didn't have a full kitchen for some reason. It
didn't?
It was missing some stuff, yeah.
Oh, okay. Big space. It's a big building for a restaurant. But El Vallarta, they have a couple locations around the metro. I've been to...
Muy bien.
I think it was in Gretna. The one in Gretna I went to was pretty good. So, and then also El Muchacho Alegre has opened in the former Fajitas building, North 72nd Street, Sorensen Park Plaza. That's it. That's your Grow Omaha lightning round brought to you by Turner Construction. We're out of here. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Maggot.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and Dingman's Collision Center. We'll chat with you next week right here at 9 o'clock on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Excellent. Whatever.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.